It's great to be part here with you're doing some amazing things and you're an inspiration for the whole community. Literally, I'm not kidding. We are so delighted to get the game and show it to you. Secondly, the way we started with this whole game was very long back in 2004 and 5, where I started having an elective in game design in IIT Bombay with Professor Atwankar, and it was so much fun. We started having a lot of students coming in. There were so many of them really interested in making games, right? And we wanted that to happen, and it became a success. The whole elective for next 10-15 years, there are lots of game designers who actually went through that elective. And I was a lecturer collecting data about ludology, about game mechanics long back then. And then the elective produced a lot of games which Fun School took up time. Yeah, it was produced under the name of IIT and Fun School with IDC and things like that. So it was done by students that time. So after that, I had a lot of other journeys. I worked in corporates. I worked with Yahoo. I worked with. I had my own startup called We Live. And we opened a design studio called TACIT.
I've been running
Sindhu has been running
2006 almost.
From 2006, we do all kinds of design. We love to take anything which is interesting, where and nice expressions can really come out. That's where our strengths are, mostly in design, product design, and storytelling, and content basically. So, but somewhere during 2012, we met a friend, and he started talking about Indian themes. We got very serious about it. It's though it was we started making puzzles, but we actually went door to door and started collecting paintings, traditional paintings in Tanjavur, in Mysore, everywhere, and then started digitizing them and actually started building puzzles out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So for us, the main thing is the backbone is the content, right, and the story itself. And spending a lot, and there are puzzles and games are ways to spend time with content. Yes. So we felt, and both of us were very delighted. We were very happy meeting so many artists, and then buying them off their shelves, and bringing to the home and digitizing and getting puzzles built. And that's how we made a Puzzle Desh.
Basically, because we had always seen Disney characters and this thing in puzzles. And we thought, okay, this is something that we can actually also tell a story while they're actually making the puzzles. So, though a very simple idea, but yes, that was the start.
So, the names of the puzzles were like Ramayana Manjari, Lokadyaksha, and and we wrote a note about that story, where this story comes, in the history, and then who painted this, and we put their names and their artist names so that they can connect, and they could buy more from them and converse around those stories, right? So we got totally involved in that. Then after that, we felt that people liked it. So the idea of a product market fit resonated, which is very difficult in things to do. Which people really loved it. People started buying as soon as they bought the first one. They wanted to buy all the next 3 of them.
So basically, you validated that Indians like Indian themes.
Yeah.
Yes, they connect very well.
It's not like it has to be something Western.
No. If you had to get it to the homes of everybody in India, then it had to be something that they will connect to. I mean, why should play only be for children and this thing? So we wanted to get to everybody.
Okay, so you felt the Indian themes connect with the target audience in India.
Yes,
and that should
even the adults.
So not many companies are there who actually do this in India, right?
Very interestingly, I kept wondering, so because I traveled all around India, Europe, US, wherever I went, people relate to a story next to them.
Yeah.
In a sense, like, they've seen something, or they've been there, or they've actually spent time in a place like, Hampi, or like it should be Mysore or Bangalore, like, so they've spent time already. They just want to justify that they know more about it, right? Everybody wants to know Ramayana. They want to know more, and they just want to play more, right? So I think the stories are the true backbone. We are just trying to make some props in the front and make them connect back to those stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Fantastic. And they play with other younger generation.
Yes.
They'll do everything. They'll go on board. They'll ask you. You remember when Ramayana used to get aired in the DD?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Why would elders ask us to go watch it? Right? Because
we used to watch anyway.
We used to watch anyway, but like,
they were superheroes.
Superheroes. and it's not about, is this what the story which actually makes it. So we spend a lot of time trying to tell why that story should be there in a region or why it existed, right? So we traveled in northeast.
So basically now it's an ocean.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just for the first drop was your puzzles.
Yes.
And that created quite a lot of a ripple.
Yes.
And now you're starting a whole new project
Yeah.
of making board games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Shall we dive into the game?
Yeah.
Can you tell us, why HAMPI?
Absolutely.
We both are
I can
architects. And,
Yeah, show us. I mean, we're
Yeah.
curious. All right.
All right, this is
Yes.
our board game. We are super happy and like we've enjoyed every bit of making this. So yeah, there you can see the langur, you can see the mantapa, and you can see the borders, which we love. Is Hampi. It's part of Karnataka. It's part of my land.
Yeah.
I have lived. I've gone there.
I've so many times.
I've felt the borders myself. It's basically, and I've documented, history there, and we have documented iconography.
And we are architects, so
and we are architects. Right.
Hampi
is a gold mine
for
of
learning
of
for
learning.
architects.
So there are thousands and thousands of mysterious temples, and I just took my son.
He was
3 months.
amazed by
He was
it.
amazed so much. I didn't tell him anything. I just took him to every part of it. He wants to go back.
Yeah.
Why do people want to go back to Hampi?
Yeah,
Because
there's
there is something unfinished there.
Yeah.
They don't want to accept what happened. Or it's not about
It's very
history.
magical.
We are not into like making history political or anything, but it's the mystery of the place that something like that happened. And people are, for us, Hampi, when we were architects, we used to go and literally understand the temple design, understand, how the topography worked and how the land is, how the borders are. How can I create it now? For me now, like, okay, if I want to recreate Hampi, or if I want to reimagine in the form of a playable object, right? What should be the thing? So that fascinated us to actually make Hampi.
Yeah.
So it's called HAMPI and the Sun Jewel. So there's a history to it. We went and met a lot of scholars. And then we abstracted and made it into a sort of a fiction. Because once you start loving the fiction, you will go historical.
Yes.
Okay, so the inspiration comes mostly in fiction. We read a lot of fiction, you get inspired, then you start digging into facts, and so there are a lot of information about 13th century Krishna Devaraya, the Hoysalas, okay, all of that.
And
right?
you get at times you get very overwhelmed by it. You should
by a
know where
lot
to
of
stop
information.
and
So
how to.
what we wanted to do was not to give a lot of information, which is available on internet. You can always go, and there are hundreds of books on Hampi. What we wanted to create was a set of tools for you, okay, to enjoy the topography, enjoy the landscape, enjoy how the roads all meet, enjoy all the temples which come up, and get to know the people there.
Yeah.
Right.
What everybody gets amazed about Hampi is mainly the landscape. So that was the starting point.